Kim White with the My Sexy Business team. I'm here with the beautiful
Kristi Bridges from One Moment Wiser.
And we have a whole crew here today with us behind the scenes that are rowdy. I'm just going to prepare you for that. This is a rowdy bunch. But we are so excited to be at the Hope to Hope conference today. This is the fourth and final day of the March 18 edition of the Hope to Hope conference.
That's right.
And we are excited, but we're sad it's coming quickly to a close today.
I miss you already.
We are having such a blast. And, I want to say this conference means so much to me, and I don't want to sound like a broken record, but I do want to acknowledge the fact that this conference came from a place in my life that was very hard. It came from the loss of my son and it took a lot of years to get to the point that we had this conference, but it is in his memory. He would have been 30 on Wednesday, and it is very important to me to acknowledge that, because sometimes people looking in think you've got stuff all together and you've never been through anything, and this conference is actually to blow that myth apart. Mm-hmm. This conference is full of people who have been through things. Some of them inflicted on us. Some of them we inflicted on ourselves, but we've been through stuff. So I want to encourage you, if you have not listened to the other sessions, to go back and listen.
Absolutely.
Our next speaker, my goodness, this is one of my sweet princess friends, and she is absolutely precious, but don't mess with her. I am telling you, Pastor Angela Howard, welcome to the Hope to Hope conference.
Hi there.
Hi. Thank you so much for welcoming me. I appreciate it. Thank you so much for inviting me. Thank you for all that you do, for even believing in me and allowing me to be a part of this conference. Thank you both.
Oh, and I do believe in you, ma'am. You are something special. You've got so much to offer this world. And, that's the thing that I see about you in particular, is that you are just like the rest of us. Like, looking at you, you seem perfect. You have a perfect life, and you have you're a pastor of a huge church in Tulsa. You have a blessed marriage. You have all of these perfect things in your life. But yet you still know that you've been through a lot of things to get here.
Mm-hmm. That's so true. That's so absolutely true. You know how some people are, they when they talk to you, they talk to the senior pastor, or they may talk to the person that's the forefront of even if it's a business. But when you talk to those that are the support and that are behind the scenes, then you get the true story, or you get the full story, if you will. Not true, but you get the full story. So I tell you, there's definitely things that we as leaders, as pastors, as being the forefront, the runners, there are things that we do experience and that we go through that, we just have to be there for each other, whether in one circle or whether sometimes you have to go outside the circle. So you're right. You're absolutely correct.
Well, and mentioning circles, you absolutely are a phenomenal leader in your church. Your husband is the pastor also of the church. And so you have a great responsibility of taking care of your church. But I also know that you all play a huge role in the community, in the leadership of the community, and in the marketplace. You all are teaching people how to do both. We shouldn't be one or the other. You actually have a marketplace ministry.
Right. Pastor Howard, and I love to call him Dr. Howard, because, when we go through all of our training, we go through so many things to get to where we need to be. It needs to be recognized. And Dr. Howard is the senior pastor of my church, Walk of Faith, and I'm the executive pastor there. And I tell you, some of the things that we have experienced, that we've seen, that we have been through is huge, and some are small. mall, but I tell you, we do a lot. We have a church that is in the mall, in Tulsa Promenade Mall, in the center of the city of Tulsa. And then, of course, our church is in the middle of the mall. So we love to call ourselves the church in the mall, and we are the core. We like to call ourselves the core of even the mall, because just being there, there has been so many things that has changed for the better because of where the Lord has put us. But he prepared us to be there. So I'm thankful for that. I'm thankful for the experiences that we've had, and I'm thankful for even the training that we've had to be prepared to be in the center of the mall. Because there are times that we're in the middle of service, we will have people just pass by, come and stop in, sit down for a while, listen to praise and worship, or listen to the word, and then they may move on. We've had walkers come and just stand and look through the window and just to see and listen to what's going on. We've had overnight prayer in the mall where they will allow us to pray overnight from 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. We've been in the mall overnight to where if we wanted to remodel or repaint, we've done that, prayed over our wall, repainted, and they've allowed us to do that. So we are so thankful for the Tulsa Promenade Mall, the owners, directors, for allowing us just to be a part and be in the marketplace, to be able to help people to understand the marketplace ministry.
You're literally in the marketplace in the mall.
Oh,
Like, but you also teach that to your congregation and to other churches. They can come in, their leaders can come in and learn how to marry the two.
Yes.
I think that that's a super, super sexy what is it? Collaboration. I think that's super sexy thing when churches can come together to help all of the churches around that area grow and be more mindful of the business owners and things that the things that they need, even from the church. We always think the church needs the business owner, but really it's both the business owner, the church.
Absolutely. It's absolutely both. And if you think about it, it's just like you said, it's marrying it together. We both need each other. I mean, when you think about it, of course, here on earth, Jesus, dad on earth was a carpenter. So he was in the marketplace. Even the places that Jesus went, he went into the marketplace. And it's not to the point to where you would take the ministry and you hammer it on people's head and you kind of say, this is what you have to do. But you're taking your ministry into where the businesses are, and you're being intelligent, and you're making sure that you are just being in order with your business. And then when the opportunity arises, yes, when the door opens for you to speak about the Lord or speak about ministry, then the opportunity is already there. It's already there. So it's not forcing ministry and forcing the word of God on people. That's not what it's about.
Well, I have to tell you, you already know this about me, and Kristi knows this about me, but I teach business, and that's one of the things that I tell business owners, because there are a lot of very godly business owners. But I really do teach that you need to get rid of the church talk, not because you're ashamed of it, nothing to do with being ashamed of it. But if you walk the walk like you and Pastor Howard do, if you walk the walk, people are attracted to that, and then you'll get an opportunity to tell them why you have the character you do.
That is so true. That is so true. I must give you just a quick example of that. The place where I work at a utility company here in Tulsa, and I've been there for several years. And during that time, I've had the opportunity to coach customer service agents, and we have at this facility, we have a session every month. It's called coaching session. That's where you have to coach them on their business, on their technique, on their call, those types of things. But being the person that God has created me to be, I must be honest, and all of those that I have coached know this. If you open the door regarding the Lord and you're having other issues other than just at work, we're going to talk about it. because I need for you in the business should and want you to be in a good place to be able to service their customers. So I was the type of supervisor that if an agent came to me, and yes, we may have said, okay, here are your calls, here are your numbers, here are your stats, but then they say, well, I'm facing this issue. We're going to talk about it. Okay, well, let's talk about it. We may take a moment to walk around the building and talk about it. I'm going to love on you because I want you to be able to be productive and be able to still, because to me, it's a circle. It's a huge circle. It's a 360. We have to be able to be productive so that we can produce the way we need to produce at work. But mentally and spiritually, emotionally, we need to be in the right place. And I just truly believe that God positioned me in the place that I am at work to be able to just love on people. And that's what I do sometimes. I can't help it. I just love on them. Every once in a while, I'll go up to someone. I have a couple of coworkers at work right now. At one point, I went up behind one young lady and I just said, hey, how are you? And she's like, I'm good. I said, you know what? I just really feel that you need a hug today. And I hugged her and she just began to cry. And she says, if you only you knew what I have been experiencing this week with my family, with my mom. I said, I didn't know, but the Lord knew.
But you are such a fine example of someone who loves people genuinely. Like you don't have a hidden agenda when you love someone. And I think that's one of the things I appreciate. And I can't sing, either one of your praises loud enough that I appreciate the friendship. Like we know each other business wise and we know each other in wise and circle wise, but you and your husband are two of my dearest friends, and it's because you really are the real deal.
Bless your heart.
You love this princess as is.
Yes, bless the Lord. Yes. We love it. We love all the energy.
She tells us about you guys even when you're not on camera. We've all heard the story of that overnight solo drive she took.
Oh, yes.
Awake.
Yes.
I mean, who does that?
That was wonderful.
That's the thing is who does that? Who goes to that length to love someone when you have such a busy schedule? If you all weren't doing anything and you had time, it probably wouldn't have been as impactful. But I know what your schedules look like.
Mm-hmm. You do.
That you would sacrifice that way for me was huge. But I also know you sacrifice like that for a lot of your congregation, a lot of people, a lot of other leaders.
Right. Kim, even during that time, we are so, just so you can know the backdrop of that, you'll probably laugh, but we were nudging, okay, it's your turn. Okay, we need to call. Okay, how long has it been? Has it been an hour? It's been 2 hours. Okay, somebody needs to call. Who's texting? I said, I don't want to text her. She's driving, so let's just call. And I said, okay, so it's your turn. Okay, make sure you do. Okay, I did. I said, well, let's do it again. We were back and forth, going, no, we did not like that at all. And the Lord just put it on our heart. Just talk to her. Just call. Make sure everything is all right. And I'm like, thank you, Lord, because I didn't want to feel like I was being overwhelming or pressuring you. Or I was like, no, we have to make sure she is okay. No, if we could have driven you, we would have. Because, we've done some 11 hours, 18 hours. That would have been okay. 24 hours, we've done that. So, yes, there was no way. No.
I'm just impressed that you thought of it, because so many people, we're like, what do you need? Oh, I don't need anything. And so we just don't think beyond that. And it actually takes care to go, how can I serve somebody and meet a need that maybe they're not recognizing at the moment, or maybe, I wouldn't have thought of. And you guys just thought of it like that was just the thing to do. You don't realize how unusual that is.
When we talk about all this, the word that comes to my mind is support.
Yeah.
Support. Support can be seen up front. Support can be seen on the side of you. Support can be seen behind you. Support can be seen underneath you, lifting you up. So when we talk about everything, even hope to hope, it's all support. All of those that are around you, that circle again, that circle of life. Truly, the Lion King has it right. The circle of life. Is all part of that support, and that's just who we are. And even speaking of support, we love, even in marketplace ministry, we love to empower people. We love to help them to sharpen their tools. They may already have tools and the things that they need to get through life, but there needs to be people like us that can help them to sharpen those tools, or know that, hey, you have this tool or this device, so let's help you tune it and get it in tune so that you can use it to this fullest measure.
So what made you like
stuff.
that? I mean, what is there somebody who just really supported you, or was there a time when you just had a lack of support that you said, I am going to do this differently? What made you this way? And so just such a supportive friend.
I truly believe that it was the lack of support. Even growing up as a child, there were things that I saw that went on as a kid. I said, okay, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to raise my child this way and that way. And then there was a time that I said, okay, I just want to be better. Because, I went through my lull. I went through a lull just like everybody does. And I said, okay, I've got to be better for this person, that person. I have to be better. I have to be stronger. Because one thing that I truly believe in, Kim, one thing I truly believe in, ladies, is that if the Lord touches me on my shoulder, speaks to me in my ear, and I know we don't need to be churchy today, but if he but I have to, it's just a part of me. But if he wakes me up, since he has wakened me up, then he has something for me to do. Mm-hmm. Whether it's for self, whether it's to support someone else. So I'm going to try my best to be the best that I can be. But it's truly what you said, Kristi, the fact that it was a support that I did not have for some time. And I believe it started at a younger age. And then the Lord just began to strengthen me in that. Did I go through ups and downs? Yes, ma'am. Absolutely, I did. Did not want to support anyone? Absolutely. Did I want to be selfish? Absolutely. And then it came to a point to where this handsome gentleman that is bald-headed, dark, with beautiful white teeth. I just love my husband so much. I told him the other day, I said, you are just really looking good.
That's awesome.
But just having him in my life, and the Lord showed me when we were together, when we got together, that this is who I need your support. All of that you went through, all of the tests and the trials and the experience, this is who I need you to support. And let me tell you, Kristi, as we have been going through things, there were times I said, Lord, are you sure? Because this is challenging. And I can be country too. So I'm from Oklahoma. So if you hear a lot of slang, that's just a part of me. Deal with it. Deal with it, people. However, I said, Lord, oh my goodness, are you serious? Because, as you all know, he's a strong man. He has a lot going on, but it's all for the good. It's all to bless and love people so that they may grow, so that they may be empowered, so that they may go forward in whatever it is for them to do. But I tell you, I had to learn how to even be stronger in that. I had to learn how to even be submissive, if you will, and that is to push self aside, to voluntarily yield to my man, voluntarily do things that I know he needed, but I may have been selfish at a point, but said, okay, if I'm not going to be negative to the Lord and speak to the Lord in a crazy manner with an attitude, then why would I be negative to my spouse, to my husband, and speak to him in a crazy manner and have that attitude? If you're not going to do it unto the Lord, why do it unto your man of God?
Yeah. People misunderstand that word submissive, and they it's funny because in all of the conversations we've had about business in the last few days and about people's projects, everybody just automatically understands that you make sacrifices to accomplish what you're after. And
Right.
people don't understand that in marriage, because, we've got this bad taste in our mouth about, spouses who abuse each other or control each other. They don't understand in a healthy marriage, there's submission going on because you're actually both aimed at something bigger than yourselves, something that's going to last a lifetime, something that's going to nurture both of you. And in your case, ministry that's actually going somewhere. So I love that you use that word without shame. And you're like, I am going to talk to my husband just like I would talk to God. And you guys you truly have a pastor's heart. And I love to see that God's using you together in those things.
Amen. Thank you, ma'am. Amen. Amen. Glory to God is all I can say to that. Yes.
And I have to say that I have to be careful when I'm talking to Pastor Marcus. I have to be very careful because I have to get what the business part is out of the way before I start talking about you, because it's immediately, my hot wife and
Yes. He will go on and on and on. You won't be able to reel him back in. So Thank you.
So I'm a smart princess. I have learned how to make sure that conversation is the right direction so we can get done with what we're supposed to be before we start going there.
Oh, the world needs a true love story. I love it.
But I tell you, there has been, even with saying that, Kristi, the love story, there is a lot with this love story. We have been preparing a book called The Merging that we have been writing, and it's completed. And it will be published pretty soon. With the deaths that we have been experiencing in our family, it's kind of pushed back the production timeline. However, it's there, and we're getting ready to push that out. And it's called The Merging, and it definitely talks about some of our trials and our tribulations. It talks about some of the things that we have experienced. It talks about how we've had to support one another. It talks about even how he's had to submit to me. How the spouses need to submit to each other. It talks about that. It talks about undergirding, and I'm just so thankful that it's there, and I truly believe it's going to open up a lot for a lot of couples that believe that, okay, there is no hope, or we're on the brink of divorce. Or one thing that Pastor and I have done is we have removed the word divorce from our conversation. If we get upset or we disagree, that word divorce does not come up. The word separation does not come up. Oh, you can go to another room and be by yourself and do what you need to do to come to yourself. And now let's come back together. But we have removed that. And that's one of the things that we talk about in the book as well. And so we truly believe and trust that this book will bring hope to all those marriages out there that may be suffering.
And that's great advice, just even if you're doing well.
Yes.
That's great advice to never even entertain those thoughts.
And to allow your partner the ability to go off and compose themselves. Some people just chase each other down until they wear each other out. And that right there is such a key lesson. But you guys have had a lot of, I know a little bit about what's happened to you in the last year, just from watching your responses and from being part of the church where I am. And I have to say, I'm so sorry for what you've gone through, but you have chosen a path of forgiveness that wasn't, probably an instinctive reaction, but it was a godly reaction, and it makes me want to cry. But it's a blessing, and I know that path hasn't probably been as easy to stick to, but having that decision and attitude of forgiveness, I'm sure it strengthens you in other, in your relationship as well as in your life.
Leading by example.
Yeah.
I tell you, Kristi, it has been a struggle, especially the most recent with the death of Anthony, and that was so dear to Pastor's heart. His sister, his nephew, and all the nieces and nephews, the brothers and sisters, and what they were experiencing. So the I don't want to say aftermath, but the point in the background that no one sees is what the mother experiences once she's at home, and what my husband experienced being once he was at home and away from all the people and the support that he needed. And this is just one of the main things that, it's like you said a moment ago, Kristi, this is just a part of me, I can't get away from this word, but we just have to understand when people are going through those life experiences, and they have a relative, they have a loved one that they have lost, that has died. We need to understand that we cannot be people that pressures them and want them to talk all the time and want them just to so we can, well, what's going on? Well, what are you thinking now? No, sometimes all we have to do, Kristi, is just come and sit next to them and just be in their presence. Mm-hmm. Just be there and be quiet. Sometimes, we could be on the other side of the room, but just be there, be next to them, holding their hand, hugging them, and not say a thing. That is a great support. That is a great example of support as well. And that way, whenever they are ready to open their mouth, when they're ready to talk, just listen. Just listen. Whether you agree or not, just listen and love on them, and then of course the tangible things. If they need things done, just do it. You're going to go out of your way because this was all unexpected. It is okay. Once you set it aside in your mind that you have to go out of the way to do something, push it aside in your mind and just do it. Nike has that right. Just do it, So that's all. That's all a part of. And I can tell you, when Pastor, I go back and forth from my honey, my sweetheart, Marcus, Pastor, Doctor. I call him all of those. He has the whole list. So I go through all of that. But when this happened, it hit him like a brick, and he had to be very strong. He facilitated those services, just being there for his sister and all the nieces and the relatives. He had to be strong, and they came to him quite a bit for a few things. So he had to be strong. But guess what? That is okay, because he had me to support him and keep him lifted, to keep him undergirded, and I know that there are people on here that may not be in the place where we are right now as believers, but still I can still speak to them in the manner of still love on your loved one or your friend or your neighbor, whomever it is. I don't have to give you scriptures for that. Loving on them is being kind. Loving on them is being positive. Loving on them is being joyful. Loving on them is not pressuring them, not being overwhelming, but just being there for them. That's a part of that support. And if they feel like crying, let them cry. If they want to yell and scream, let them yell and scream. Let them get it out. Do not hold them and so tight, close their arms where they can't move. Let them move. And that is also a part of support, just being there. So there are times when Pastor, once he got to the house and he needed to debrief, if you will, I let him. You have to, because I know how strong he is and how strong he can be. And I know he's not Jesus per se that carries our burdens, but I know this pastor carries a lot of things, and I let him come, debrief, do what he needs to do. And okay, all right, we're good. Let's go. What's next? So.
That's such a good word, though. Such a good word, because when my son passed away, it was very hard for me, and I'm talking about, exhausting, when people would try to come and give me their one-line answer that was going to make me better, when that wasn't going to make me better. And I felt like I had to be nice and make them feel like they were helping me, when really the ones that actually supported me in the way that I needed support were the ones that just sat with me and didn't say anything. They just came and said, have you fed the dogs today? Have you got the lunch for the boys for school? Have you, those are the things that we kind of miss, I think, sometimes, because we want to be, I'm this way. I want to be a superhero. I want to come in and be able to take your pain away because I don't want to see you hurting. But at the same time, that's not the answer. That's not the best support. The best support is allowing them the freedom to grieve and allowing them to be able to cry, like you said, and you let them. And I think that's such wise counsel that, I would have never known that. I would have never had any idea that was what was necessary or needed had I not gone through that.
Now, something occurs to me while I'm listening to you ladies, and we haven't really touched on it. And we've talked about, networking, reaching out when you're struggling and that kind of thing. But you are able to let him express his emotions however he needs to in those times, partly because you understand that grief is a volatile thing that you just have to sit back and let it go for a little bit, but also because you have a longer term relationship where you know that you can trust him, and he knows he can trust you, and you understand each other to some extent. And we get more and more isolated the more technologically advanced we are, right? We get more, everybody's got a side hustle, everybody's got 40 million things they want to accomplish, everybody's got all the conveniences they need in their own house and don't have to go anywhere. There's so much that we do to isolate ourselves, and we at times, there's not a single life that isn't going to have some awfulness occur at some point where we're going to need support. We've got to intentionally make time for those long-term relationships and intentionally deal with maybe the challenges that come with long-term relationships, and the fact that we might not always be interested in the same things, or we might not always be going the same way, but keep coming back and nurturing those, because when a time like this happens, you have someone who is there that really understands what you need, because what Kim might have needed was someone who could pack the kids' lunches and just not bug her, and what your husband need might be something completely different. So each person
they need something different.
Needs the person who understands them.
They need something different. And and there are some that, even if you believe or feel that, well, I'm not able to discern what they may need, and so I don't know what to do. Well, it's okay to ask them. Just quickly ask them, not badger, but just ask them. And then once they relay it to you, then move on. Or if they say, well, I don't know right now, then that's your answer. If they don't know, then you sit still. If they don't know, then you reach out to them again. You're sitting for a moment, you're with them. And then I'm giving practical steps, because we need that. We can be biblical, and that's beautiful. We love the word. Thank you, Lord. Hallelujah. But we do need, as a people, we need practical steps. So you've asked that person. That person can't tell you right at this very moment. Okay, check back with them again later. But that doesn't mean keep badgering them. But yes, you are absolutely correct. You are absolutely correct, Kristi. I agree with everything you've said. Yes, ma'am.
I think that's one of the things that to me is like magical about you is the fact that you are wholeheartedly sold out to God, like completely 100% sold out to God, but you are so practical. I think, just to clarify earlier, in case anyone didn't understand what I was talking about by the church talk, sometimes when you run in a circle in the church, we talk above people's heads that are not in the church. And it's not that they're not as smart as we are.
Right.
We just have different dialects almost of
Different lingo and
language.
metaphors.
And when you do that, people who are needing you sometimes get lost in the shuffle. And so the reason I always encourage all of us to be careful what language we're using is, I don't want the practical to be missed. I don't
That's
want the
true.
things like you just said to be missed, because allowing someone the freedom to grieve their way and to be a support to them in the way that you just explained it
That was great.
is phenomenal.
Bless the Lord. Bless the Lord. Amen. It's hard to say thank you. I just said that's all I can say is bless the Lord, because these are not my own thoughts. It's things I have experienced, but I know I receive, like you said, the wisdom from Him. It's not my own. But thank you. I'm getting better at this. I truly am. But bless the Lord. But I am.
And you're so right. Just ask people. Just ask people. We're afraid to, like, we're going to look stupid, or like we're going to impose, or I don't know what we're afraid of. We think that we've got to be the horse whisperer, where we can just go, oh yeah, I get you. You know, and then we do something that totally shows we don't. So just ask. That's so simple.
I had someone say to me that they couldn't imagine what I was going through.
Uh-huh.
And I finally got to the point that I understood that I would tell them, don't try.
Yeah.
Right.
If you're not going through that, don't
Right.
try to understand how terrible it feels, because you don't need to feel terrible. That's not good support either.
Right. And you know, I can't not stand to be fake.
Exactly.
If I'm not good at it, I'm not good at it. So I don't want to be fake around someone that is grieving, because guess what? Their heart, their spirit is so open, they're going to recognize it.
Yeah.
And it's not going to help them at all. I cannot be fake. If I don't have anything to say, I'm just going to sit with you. I'm going to love you. I'm going to kiss your cheek. And I might kiss your hand. And we're going to move on together. And I'm going to say, whatever you need me to do, let me know. It doesn't matter the time, the day, or the hour. I cannot be fake. I have learned to curtail some of my verbiage sometimes when I'm talking to people in the business world, and I disagree. But again, that's the part of me that's just trying not to be fake. But you're so correct, Kim. Don't fake it. If you feel that you don't know, ask. If they don't have the answer, then come back to them later. But don't pressure them, and don't make them feel like they have to take care of you and that you're okay. Because that's one of the things too, that when someone goes through a grieving process, they're putting on smiles for other people. They're trying to make sure that that person is okay, and they're rubbing on that person. No, it's you you're the one that's going through it. We need to be loving on you and making sure you're okay. You shouldn't have to do anything. When an individual is going through a grieving, they shouldn't have to do anything but get up, bathe themselves, and put on clothes. And you know what? I might help you put some clothes on too. I'm okay. There hasn't been anything I haven't seen. Females, of course. Let me make it clear. you just don't know. That's all you should have to be able to do. So,
and sometimes that, you know, when we're not going through something that seems like nothing, but when you are going through that place of, you know, such devastation, even putting your clothes on seems like amazing thing. Yes. You know, one of our other speakers was talking about that she couldn't get out of bed. You know, that she went through a season of she couldn't get out of bed. Her heart was so broken. Mm-hmm. And I think that's exactly what happens to a lot of us as we get to the point that just doing the daily, you know, taking your shower and putting your clothes on is almost more than you can ask. And I'll be honest, this is like really transparent, but I actually made myself a note to brush my teeth and I had to put it on the mirror because none of that seemed important when I was hurting so bad.
My
And
God.
that's, I mean, I didn't want to stop brushing my teeth, but it was like, it seemed like when you're comparing that to planning a funeral for your child, that brushing my teeth wasn't important. I mean, it just,
Right.
and so I think that that's a funny, but it's true. I really did put a sticky note, up on my mirror with, I think there were like 4 things on it to make sure that I did that
Wow.
because I had to have a reminder.
Wow. And see, those things like that, it's like I can't even imagine that. I can imagine that. And that doesn't mean I have not experienced a lost loved one, but this was your child. So your experiences are totally different, even from, pardon me, even from my sister-in-law's experience where her child has moved on. Your experiences are different, even though it's in the same realm of a lost child, and it was a son. It was a son also, but still the experiences are different. So for me to even sit there and say to you, "Oh, I understand," or "I know," no, I don't. I
Exactly.
don't. I can't imagine it. So that's the part of don't fake it. If you don't know and you can even fathom what this person is experiencing, because this person you carried your baby for 9 months. She carried her baby for 9 months. You cannot understand not just the physical, but the spiritual disconnect. So don't act like you can. Just love on them and shut up. You
Yeah,
know?
that's a huge part. And I don't know how to stress that enough. If someone's going through
Ooh,
something, being quiet, and I may say something that sounds a little kooky, but death is loud
yes,
because
it is.
when you go through the situation of having to choose all the things that you have to choose for a funeral and all the things that people are bombarding you with and it's and I'm not talking bad things. I'm talking good things. People trying to help you. That's all very loud.
It
And
is.
honestly, grieving takes quiet.
Yes, it does. It is very loud, and even the loudness in your head. You're hearing all of these things. You're hearing all of these voices. And people just need to be quiet. I remember when it was a few years ago, that pastor's cousin, his second cousin, but the cousin that he was raised with, they almost called each other sister and brother because they were raised with each other, and they were so close. Well, when she lost her son, when her son died, this is a totally different person, and we were all praying with her. We were all in the room with her, and then she shouted out, "Be quiet." And we were all quiet. Nobody said anything. You couldn't hear anything moving, but she was still hearing voices. And she still said again, "Be quiet." And it took about 3 times. And although everybody after the first 2 times, no one said anything, she was still hearing voices. So we made sure that everything and everybody was still. It's exactly what you're saying. There are a lot of things going on around you physically, and then there are things going on with you mentally. And we need to just wait and just understand it. And even if you're not a believer, if you're out there listening and you're not a believer, still, you can still go to the Lord. You can still ask, "What should I do?
Yes.
What should I do? What would you have me to do?" Because even as believers, there are things that we experience. I have no idea what we're going to do about it. But I was like, "Okay, Lord, what do we do about this?" Because I don't know, but you know. So where we at?
Yes,
What would you
exactly.
have me to do? So that's just a part of it. It's just a part of it.
You're
Part of
such
that.
a wise woman.
I love it. I love it.
Oh,
I
thank
like that you bring humanity to your job. I'm a trainer, and I sit with people, usually new employees, so they've had some kind of life change.
Yes.
And we're in a classroom for 5 weeks where they're being challenged, and they at times think, I'm never going to do this stuff right. And I get to help them through that. But, there's usually some kind of life thing going on with at least one person in my class. Just every class, there's at least one person who has some kind of life thing. And, sometimes they do just need someone who's going to sit there and listen to them when, it should be lunchtime or when it should be the end of the day. And I just consider it a blessing to miss the rush hour traffic and, and sit there and listen. But, sometimes they need that person to just listen. And sometimes, especially at work, it's a little different than it would be in a personal, like off work time, because, sometimes they don't want you, even though they poured their heart out to you the night before, they don't want you to bring it up during the workday because they need to stay focused. And so, what they actually need is someone to just kind of, be a little mean to me or, distract me so that I'm not too focused on what's really going on in the rest of my life. It's neat when you can know you walked up to your employee and you just said, you look like you need a hug, and you can know what to do at those different times.
That's so true. That's so true. And I, the coworkers that I've done that to, of course, females, it's interesting because I've had a thought in my head. Well, if they send me to HR, oh well, I'll just tell them I felt that they need a hug and I did it. But it's always been a good thing when that has happened and the individual would just melt and receive it. That's nothing, Kristi, but the Lord told me now it's time.
We need compassion at work more than we're anywhere else.
Mm-hmm.
And it needs to be a place where we can be all of ourselves. And if mentally we are going round and round and round and round in circles over something that's happening in our life, we're not being able to do our best at work. If any other person can show compassion and interrupt the race,
yes,
it makes a difference.
It absolutely does. I love that you said that, the race, because that's exactly what it is. There's so many things. It's like a highway. On the highway, there are 4 different cars, and each car is doing something different. You're right there on the 5th lane going, okay, which way do I go? Because it's just busy around you. So you need something there to say, okay, pause for a second, and it's okay. I absolutely love being a sounding board. And I can say that because I've needed it in my life. I have my husband as my sounding board. My husband and I have 2 couples that prays with us every year. We get together and we come together and pray at the beginning of the year. And one of the couples is longer. We've been doing this for some time. And then every so often in the middle of the year, we will get together with this couple and we will either talk things out, let things out, or just kind of, let's just say, hang our issues out to dry, literally, And I'm so thankful for that. So we have that sounding board for each other and each couple, and then my husband and I. So I am so thankful that the Lord has positioned me to be a sounding board for people in the marketplace. And it's okay, because if I need to release, I can do that when I get home, because he's going to listen to me. And when we could be in the car and I'm letting it out, I'm done. By the time we're home, I'm good. If I have anything I need to release. But for the most part, I love being a sounding board, because we need that as a people. We need someone to just listen to us. We need to get those issues that are running around in our head out, so that we won't have, and that doesn't mean that we're not going to have stressful times. That does not mean that we're not going to be upset or frustrated. It doesn't mean that. But at least we're not going to allow it to captivate our mind in such a way where we're ready to just give up on life. So I'm thankful for that. I'm thankful. I don't want the people that I know, the people that I work with, being at work. It's a home away from home. You know that. You're at work, and the people that you work with, whether it's Marcus Howard Ministries, whether it's the people that we work with in other businesses, whether it's the people that we work with in the corporate world, we are with other people, and that's like being home, a second home, because you communicate with them for several hours in the day. So you need to have more than just a business mindset with them. And when it comes to marketplace ministry, what we need to do is we need to go before the Lord. So when we go into business, we know when to say something, why we're going to say it, and what we are doing, so that we can do it in order, in line, and on time, but in the same sense, not badgering someone, not making the wrong decisions. And if there's something that's contractual, that we're sticking to it. Integrity, integrity, integrity.
Well, let me just tell you, I can brag on you and your husband in a whole another ways, in another arena, actually. And that is, I teach and I believe that wealth is found in the follow-up. It's the relational things that bring wealth into your life, not keeping your word and not doing things. And you and Pastor Marcus are absolutely two of my favorite follow-uppers. I don't know what to call the right word, but you two are so good at the follow-up. You take it serious about being faithful to follow up with people, to follow up in business and in personal relationships. And the things that you teach in your Believe and Go Academy,
Yes,
and the
ma'am.
things that you teach in, your writings, your books, your classes that you do for the community, you do classes online, I just don't want to miss that part. Anybody that's listening and understanding what great wealth that you're bringing to this conversation, I want to make sure they know that they have access to you all through many means. And again, This is not a selling, this is not a recruiting conference, this is not any of that. This is a relationship building, giving people access to the people they need to get unstuck and to get hope for where they're at. And I just want that to be put in the comments if anybody is, listening that needs more of you, and I always need more of you. But that the books that you have, where can they find all of that?
You can go to info@marcuslhoward.com, info@marcuslhoward.com, and you will find all of the things that we are involved in, all that we're associated with, all the books that we have written that are out there ready to purchase. You'll find the merging out there as we're preparing to complete that. So yes, ma'am.
Now I think that's the email.
That's the email that you can go to. You can go to. We do have a Facebook page where you can also go to Marcus L. Howard to our Facebook page. You can go to bgdacademy.com. That is our website that has everything on there as well. That's bgdacademy.com as well, where you can pull up everything. And you have an opportunity to either comment on there if you have questions. When you send it will come through us to the email that I just gave you. So yes, that's how you can contact us. Absolutely.
Well, I know that you all, are my sweet friends, and I'm not giving you up. I'm just going to say, but I also know that you do make yourself available to, business owners who need wisdom that you all have in the business arena. You all are powerful business owners. You all, are powerful in the ministry. You all understand the connection between the two. So if anybody's listening that needs to get connected with you all, I just want them to make sure that we leave that. If you're listening and you have trouble with any of those things, message us.
Yes.
We'll get you connected, because we want to make sure that they get connected to you.
And Dr. Howard did put the links in there. So thank you so much for that.
And you can also contact us at 918, our number is 918-815-2780. That's 815-2780 is our ministry number. So you're welcome to call us there as well. We appreciate you guys. Thank you so much. And I just want to say to the people, to those that are listening, those that are tuned in, know that you are empowered to do what you need to do. And if you feel like you're not empowered to do it, contact us. I guarantee you, in speaking to you or listening to you for 5 minutes, we can tell you what tool you have that's going to help you to soar in life. Does that mean soar financially, being wealthy? I got to be rich? No. But even soar and be able to supersede those negative thoughts that try to hold you down, that tries to pull you back. We are able to help you to move past that. So I'm telling you, to anyone that is listening, know that you are empowered. If you're listening to this conference, you are empowered. If you're hearing it, if you are even just seeing it, you are empowered because you woke up this morning and he needs you.
And I want to add that if you need wealth advice doing business, don't hesitate to call either, because they know what they're doing. I just want to point that out.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for being on with us today. We love you so much, and I can't wait to see you again. I think that our favorite place, we'll just say our favorite place to meet. We got to meet not very long ago, and I can't wait to do it again. So
yes. Love you so much.
Love you. Love you.
Good to see you again, Kristi. Love you so much. I need to put my arms around you.
Well, if you're watching the Hope to Hope conference, we just appreciate the fact that you've joined us for this session. If you missed any of it, go back and watch the replay. This was one amazing session, and such practical tips on how to help someone who is grieving and how to get through it. Because that's really what this conference is about. It's about hope to be able to get past whatever you're going through.
Yeah.
I'm Kim White with the My Sexy Business team.
I'm Kristi Bridges with One Moment Wiser.
And we will be back in the next session at noon Central Standard Time. 1 Eastern and 10 Las Vegas time. Yes. So love you guys.
Love you. Thank you. Bye-bye.